All right, getting back to this video, I'm gonna go through my private label experience. On the previous video, and you guys, it's the link is in always pinned in description. Check the playlist, and I always make everything very easily accessible in the description, in the pinned comment, or on that Excel sheet. So there should be no excuse. Just check the playlist for all the videos. So in the last video I went through my whole wholesale experience. And I'm not going to go get into that. Okay. Yeah, this one here, this video is going to be about my private label experience, what I bought, and how it never even made it to get listed on Amazon. And the shipping issue came into play, which they lied to me about that. They supposedly said it was baked in the whole thing, and then they changed it up later, and they wanted to charge me for it. So everything got put on hold with that. They breached the agreement on that too. So anyway, let's dive right in here. I don't want to bore you guys. So um, this guy Abrar, he's the private label Abrar. I think I got that right. Some Indian fuck. He actually, I'm giving him credit because he was the only person in that whole Ecomm Partnerships LLC. That was the only thing, the only guy that was actually he really did respond back, and he gave me the information, and he was very professional. Okay, every time I dealt with him, he's the only person in that company I really enjoyed dealing with. And if I would have worked with him, I there could have been a chance that this might have worked if this product was legit, if it was actually sourced from where Donny Irwin said it was sourced from, if actually all this shit was legit and actually was a proven product that was picked. So anyway, he sent me this initial, I'm not going to click on everything in here, but this is what he initially, uh, discovered that, hey, these things might be, maybe we should take a look at these. And they're kitchen related, right? There was this, you know, a ricer, a bidet, a beverage dispenser, but he chose this food warming mat. Okay, this food warming mat. And he gave me like a breakdown of it and what the return on are. I'm not going to get into that because that's just boring to you guys. But trust me, he sent me like a sheet, and it kind of made sense. He broke everything down. I think he did the research. But here's the thing: what these people do on a daily basis, you have tools out there like, um, for instance, I'll tell you, helium 10, okay, or here it is. This tool. This is a paid tool that all Amazon professionals that sell on the marketplace have. It does the heavy lifting. It finds products. It looks at its metrics. It compares other listings. It basically does all the heavy lifting. And this is what they use. I don't know if they use helium 10. There's other things like Jungle Scout. There's other all competitors. And this is the basis of what these guys do to try to they geek out and they try to select products and they try to see where the opportunities lie. Okay, so don't act like these people are just some, like they're all special and they have this proprietary knowledge or all this all they do is use the internet and the software and the tools that are available. Okay, and they're just masters at they know the ins and outs and they know what to look for. So don't put them up on a pedestal because anybody can learn how to do this. Okay, so back to this. So basically, what he discovered was well, not discovered. He food warming mat, right? And so this is what this thing looked like on Amazon. You guys can get the picture of this stupid thing. It warms food, and then you got to be careful. He did select it, and I pressed him with a bunch of questions about it. Hey, if you put this on, I noticed some people in reviews on it because there's a lot of people selling this shit, right? Different manufacturers, and some are good, some are bad. But I really participated here, and I'm like, oh, this is an interesting product. So then we can do a whole kitchen thing, maybe add more in the future. But this is what they discovered that he thought there was an opportunity here, and I'm like, fine, this is what I'm paying you guys for. This is your fucking job, right? To discover these opportunities, source it where it needs to be sourced, and get it listed, and then you take your cut. That's part of the whole deal, right? So I'm like, okay, cool. This guy really did seem like he knew what he was talking about, this Abrar guy. And I'm like, yeah, this is interesting. So we decided on this thermoplate. Basically, this thing rolls up. You can take it to picnics. You can put it in your house. It's portable, and it just basically keeps cooked food warm on the counter. But then you got to be careful. I did discover a few things with this where in the reviews, some of these will crack a countertop, and that's no good, man. It's no good. So I pressed them on that. So anyway, they decided to go with three different manufacturers supposedly over in China, right? Three different manufacturers in China. They went to, so they're like, okay, we got to get some samples. So they bought three different samples, and that cost me $222. All right. Those samples got routed to their Amazon in the foothills, that packaging center, and supposedly they checked them out. What happened to them after that? I never got them. No one gave me the samples. No one mentioned it. They probably just went in the drawer somewhere, or they flipped them, or they sold them, and I was out $222 after I even asked, "Hey, where are the samples?" Nothing, nothing, nothing. So they did what they want with them. So I lost 225 bucks for or $222 off the bat. So anyway, then they select a manufacturer, and this was the manufacturer, this Ray-Ban. This is a Chinese company. You guys can check them out. It really does look legit. They have a Facebook presence. They put out videos all the time. I think this is a legit company. They manufacture all kinds of kitchenware, anything from utensils to knives to uh, all kinds of kitchen shit. Now, you just check out the website. It's Ray-Ban. They're on Facebook. But what here it was, they manufactured this food warming mat, and here's where supposedly my money went. All right, we did an order for 400 of these things, and I spent a total of there was for the samples and a total of 64.56.32. So there was my private label investment, 66.78.32. All right. So like fine, cool. Then the next step after all okay, we got to put it in production. It'll be a few months for that, the typical shit they tell you. And then it comes time to do the trademark, and what a shit show. This Donny's like, oh, you can go with Trademark Galaxy, which we recommend, or another one. And I went with this Trademark Galaxy because I'm like, oh, they know what they're doing. Boy, oh boy, this was a fucking gimmick too. Dealing with these assholes, trying to get them to do it, filling out the forms. It was $349, and then I was lied to. I got some Indian guy calling me on the phone, could barely speak English, assuring me this is all going to go through. He claimed he was a lawyer, and then when shit hit the fan and there was problems, and they basically filled it out wrong and they submitted it wrong. They put it under my personal name, not under my uh, they put it under my personal name, not under my business name. So that caused the whole thing. And I got so pissed off with these guys, I basically canceled the service, and I basically did a disputed on a chargeback with these guys too because they didn't deliver me what was promised. They screwed it up. And at this point, I don't even need it. I don't care what happens to this trademark. So it was called Thermoplate. That's the name we came up with. And I'm going to share that with you because it's no secret. I mean, it is what it is, right? So that was a shit show. That was a disaster. Horrible experience dealing with Trademark Galaxy. I would recommend you guys if you're trying to trademark something. These guys also seem like a scam. They claim they have a team of lawyers, and there's a whole thing with the lawyer got back to me, and she was a freaking smart ass, and I basically told her to fuck off, and I just I asked for a refund and everything, and then I'm like, no, all right, fine, I'm just gonna dispute it with the charge off. So. Uh, that's still in the works. It's one of the few charge-offs that's still hanging because it doesn't have anything to do with Ecomm. That's their separate company, Trademark Galaxy, that I had to pursue that. So what we did then is yeah. So that's really it. And then it came down to I was all like, oh, this is kind of cool. So we went back and ordered like I said, 400 of these. I gave them the money, and then came the shipping. Initially, Donnie told me the shipping was baked into the total dollar that I would get invoiced and I would give them. Then, when it was ready to ship, they changed their tune. I got all this crap with the tariffs, and I got all this excuses with this getting it here. We're trying to get the right, all just a bunch of bullshit. They use that tariff thing as a complete front now to renegotiate prices and basically squeeze more fucking money out of you. So then they tried telling me, oh well, no, we're gonna need another 1,100 and some dollars. I forget what the total is for shipping. I'm like, no, that you guys are taking care of that because that was the original agreement. No, 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 no. And then so anyway, that happened right around the same time where they stopped invoicing me and I asked for freaking invoicing for the wholesale products. They couldn't provide any of that. And I'm like, okay, we are done here. That's it. I had a contract amendment, like I told you. They triggered the third strike clause, and I'm just so glad I didn't submit any more payments because I would have had to chase that down too. So these things are probably sitting in a Chinese warehouse somewhere. I don't know. I don't give a fuck what happens to them. You can light them on fires for all I care. The thermoplate, I could give a shit about it, and so that was it. So that I had to go dispute those charges with Chase. Luckily, I put all this stuff on credit cards, and then I had to go dispute the charges with everything related to the private label. Fast forward, I got all that ruled in my favor. So all that money I invested went away. Okay, and I'm just talking about the private label. So the samples went away. I got that back, and I got that back. So that you get what I'm going here. I'm going to get back to wholesale in a minute. So real quick, I wanted to touch also on this stupid website. You guys probably got suckered into like, hey, we need a website for the suppliers to make sure that they see that you're legit, but we're not going to use the website. It's just like a one-off. And I'm like, fine. And they told you you can make your own, but like if you don't really have any experience with that, it's a kind of a shit show. You know what I mean? So I'm like, all right, fine. I'll bite the bullet. I'll pay them $749 for this dumb website. And what they gave me was basically modeled this. It basically modeled this website, right? You got your products, there's drop down menus. It's just basically a bunch of bullshit. Your name, your company name will be on here, and then they just basically make it look exactly like this generic website, but it's fake. And when I got this website, and the thing is, I can't show it to you because this is what it looks like now. Because I basically because they never delivered it to me. They gave me a basically a fake website that they flashed in front of me, and I just am like, oh, okay, cool. And then, I thought it was live and whatever. And then I'm like, well, if I don't need this thing, why am I paying for this? Why am I paying for this? And then they were like, yeah, Donnie was like, yeah, you don't need the website anymore. You can just cancel it. I'm like, oh, okay. And this was like months and months and months of being charged for this. And then it turns out I never got the website. If you look at it's basically they use Shopify to make the website. It was just, so you guys be the judge. That's what happened with that. So I basically hit them on that too. This one is currently in the works. Okay, so that's going to be recovered too. Put them on everybody. Put your wholesale ordering, every kind of thing you do, put it on a credit card. Never wire money. Never wire money because you're never going to get that cash back. Okay. Credit card companies, they will discover fraud. It's mainly like Amazon. The credit card companies usually, for the most part, if you have a really good rock solid case and you present it well, they'll side with the customer and rule against the merchant. Usually what they do on Amazon, they want the customer to be happy. So with that being said, that's the website, trademark, that's the food warming mat. Um, Literally anything else I wanted to talk about. Oh, here's a quick picture of it. This stupid, I had this thermoplate logo, and that was a whole shit show too. I gave them a couple. I'm like, I wanted to get involved with this. I was like, oh, cool. Let me help you out with some designs, and let me see. They actually baked it in like they were going to come up with the logo, right? The logo design. And pretty much, I came up with the fucking logo. I gave them a whole bunch of ideas, and they just regurgitated my ideas and basically used what I basically did. So they didn't even do anything with that. I could have did the damn logo myself. So, you know, FYI, what private label products did you guys have? What was your experience? Put it in the comments. Visit the Facebook group. Join the new Facebook group. We got some new members, but it's slow. You guys know it's there. I got no sympathy for if you don't want to join and participate, right? Start participating on the Reddit forum. I got, it's there. This isn't brand new anymore, but the outlets are there for you to vent, bitch, prove, document, and fight back against these assholes. So That's really going to be the video. I just wanted to document that. I didn't have an in-depth epic private label experience. It's zeroed out right now. I got the money back for that. So anyway, you guys, I made this sheet here. You see where the grand total for me personally over 62,000. That's just there's more a couple ins and outs that I spent that jacked that total up even higher. Okay, I just want you to be very, everybody very clear. This is just a ballpark estimate on the low end. But the private label is zeroed out because I I instituted chargebacks for fraud, and all these credit card companies already ruled in my favor. Check it out. Except for the initial buy-in. That's the wire. That's the cash. That's hard to get back. So a lot of you guys that wired them, 25,000 in cash, 15,000, whatever your initial buy-in amount was, because they keep jacking that up and up and up and more. That's the tough one. That's the tough one. I had to institute wire fraud with my bank, and then the bank instituted a formal notification on their end to Wells Fargo, their bank that they used, and I never heard back yet. I'm not. That's where all my deductions that I acquire from my chargeback, my wins on the credit card companies, mainly Chase and American Express, I'm going to deduct it from the 25,000. So I'm down to a really doable dollar amount now that I'm basically just going to have to take them to small claims court to even myself out. That's fucked up. I didn't mean to make shit off of this. So my initial wholesale order, credit card, you guessed it, the Christmas Day add-on, the initial wholesale order. In my last video, described all this, got it all, done. Chargeback ruled in my favor. Fraudulent wholesale order with the FBI ruled in my favor. So there it is. You guys see where I'm at here with things. I'm almost in the clear. Now I'm getting at a point, but there's going to be some initial after you subtract everything here after I do my math, and I'm not going to get into that, but there's going to be a little dollar amount left over that's basically recoverable in small claims court. Now you guys might have a different scenario. You guys might have, you still might be in the hole for 50, 60, $70,000. You might not recover a fucking penny. So that's the point where if you didn't put any of that stuff on the credit cards, you can't come up with statements. You're not a good writer. You don't know how to use ChatGPT. You don't know how to really sell yourself, and you don't even want to deal with the process. Then maybe a lawyer will take your case. I don't know. Contact Colin. Okay, so somebody already did sue these guys. But with that being said, that's going to take a lot of work. Your lawyer is going to not work. They usually don't. They usually work on retainer. They're not going to work on a contingency basis. So you're going to have to, front a lot of this up front. And you're going to have to really get to a point where you're going to have a conversation with a lawyer or multiple lawyers, and they're going to tell you straight up, you're going to spend a lot of fees on me, meaning the lawyer, right? They're going to tell you that. And then they're going to probably like think, well, this is a low dollar amount, 50, 60, $70,000. If we take them to court, I do all my research, the demand letters, everything, this could end up balancing all that out, and you might not really make shit. You're lucky if you pull away with 10, 15 grand with all the legal fees. So in that aspect, it's a wash. It's not even almost worth committing. So you have to just figure out the angles like I did. Hopefully you guys, excuse me, put your charges on credit cards, because if you can prove fraud, if you can prove they misrepresented, if you can prove if they didn't provide invoicing, that's the key. You wait a month, you have a solid statement with the credit card companies, mainly Chase and American Express is what I recommend you guys dealing with. Business credit cards, not personal. I mean, if you did put it on your personal, then you put it on your personal, you're going to have to just go through the same process. But unfortunately, that stuff tags your personal credit report, and that'll really drain you. That makes you look bad for mortgages, renters, any type of thing, car loans, anything. Yeah, so keep it personal and business separated. So that's it. Hopefully this video helped. I just wanted to give you an update, and I did my wholesale experience on my last video, and this one's private label. But that's it. And I got a few more topics to talk about, but I wanted to make sure I documented my wholesale and private label experience so you guys have a good idea what I went through, the kind of products that these guys were fucking picking and peddling, and then the whole transaction and what was the outcome. So hopefully this helps. If you have any questions, Put it in the comments, reach out to me, participate in the groups. They're out there. Choice is yours. Uh, Cry like a little whiny little bitch, stay fucked, or fight back and fuck these guys like they deserve to be fucked. Okay? Talk to you later.